Hi everyone, welcome back. For the next part this morning, we have Eddie, who is going to be sharing a story from the Bible. So, Eddie, what have you got there?
A Bible. I've been reading this amazing bit all about Jesus appearing to his disciples after Easter morning. It wasn't just Easter morning that he was seen walking around as real as you and me, you know. You remember how last week Lucy and Justin told us how the tomb where they put his dead body was empty? Mary Magdalene saw him and thought he was the gardener. Well, that wasn't the end of it. Next, he appeared with the disciples. Well, some of them anyway, in the upper room. Then, poof, he disappeared as suddenly as he'd arrived. After that, he came back again, because when Thomas heard about it, he said, "No way, you're all pulling my leg. I'll believe it when I see it. Until I can put my fingers into the holes in his hands where they nailed him to the cross and touch the wound where that Roman soldier stabbed him with a spear after he died, I'm having none of it." So Jesus showed up to see Thomas and let him see and touch his wounds. How amazing is that?
Totally amazing.
But my favourite story is when he taught fishermen how to fish.
Oh, yes?
Yes. You see, 7 of the disciples were hanging out together, just sitting about, waiting for what came next. A bit like lockdown, really. Peter, who always liked to be busy and active, was simply climbing the walls with boredom. So he thought he might as well do something useful and decided to go fishing. The others, Thomas, Nathaniel, the 2 sons of Zebedee, and 2 others, had nothing better to do, so they tagged along too. They went out in the boat late at night. Peter and some of the others used to be fishermen when Jesus first called them to follow him, so they were experts. They set up torches on the sides of the boat and the fish were attracted to the light. All you had to do was toss in the nets and hey presto, plenty of fish to take to market in the morning. That's the theory. But not that night. They fished and fished all night. Hour after hour they tried, and not even one little tiddler.
There was some bloke on the beach. Come here. So it was Jesus and they didn't know. Wow.
And he yelled out to them, "Hey, friends, haven't you caught any fish?" Of course, they yelled back, "No." So he said, "Throw your nets in on the right side of the boat and you will catch fish." Huh. I bet they must have felt quite insulted. Expert fishermen being told what to do by a stranger. I bet they wondered what difference it was going to make chucking their nets in just a few metres different. But I guess they had nothing to lose, so they did as they was told. And you'll never guess what. The nets were full to bursting with fish. The nets were so heavy they could barely lift them into the boat. At that point, the disciple John realised the man on the beach was Jesus. "It's the Lord," he told Peter. Peter was so excited. He threw on the clothes he'd taken off while he was working and jumped into the water in a rush to get to Jesus.
Hang on. So Peter put clothes on to swim to shore? That's odd. Wouldn't it have been easier to swim without heavy clothes?
Yes, but that's what it says. Can I continue? They weren't far from the shore, so the other disciples stayed in the boat and dragged the fish to the beach. And there, Jesus was cooking breakfast on a barbecue. There was bread and fish. He told them to bring some of their catch too, so Peter pulled up the net. Then they sat quietly as Jesus broke the bread and the fish and passed it round. They didn't need to ask who he was. They just knew it was him. The third time Jesus showed up after he died, he gave the disciples a miraculous catch of fish, then cooked and ate breakfast with them. How cool is that? Very cool.